Well, here, I can do that too. Ready?
No. Like, no.
Oh my word, Evelyn does that with like a little accent. No.
For what?
Anything.
Like, is it from something?
Nope,
Or is she
just Evelyn. Today she walked into the bathroom. What did she say? She like slowly closes the door. She goes, say it. She said something like, goodbye forever, I'm not coming back out. She closes the door.
And you were like, good. That's what I'm praying for.
Not out loud, anyways. Hi, I'm Sarah.
I'm April. And I forgot I was going second.
I'm Jessica.
Welcome to the Fragile Podcast, where we're learning how to embrace our humanity. Today, we're going to be talking about relationships.
Fun. Yay. How do you guys feel about the current state of your relationships?
Oh, they were going to say relationships in general. The current state of my relationships?
Yeah.
In general?
I would say they are 100% better than they were 10 years ago.
Because?
Wow.
Because of something that I've actually taken the time to think through and learn about. And I now finally, for the first time in my life, understand why they're important. Or am learning why they're important.
Interesting how that happens. Okay, side note, we should put the same titles together.
Oh, I can do that. Find all the same titles. That is what I'm doing right now.
Does that make more sense? Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Cool. Anything to help with this stupid puzzle that I hate. Sorry, go ahead.
You also picked. I would have been happy with the
unnecessary. Unnecessary.
So, Star, you before 10 years ago didn't feel so great about relationships, or didn't really consider it.
Yeah, I didn't think of them as anything. Mm-hmm. I think I had convinced myself, or I don't know. I don't think I had thought about it.
Point?
Yes, it was
very moo.
It was moot.
Yeah, it was moot.
No, moo.
Moo.
Like
it was moo.
Joey.
Is that how we're calling it?
From Friends.
From Friends, Joey.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Moo, like a cow's opinion. Moo.
As if cows had opinions. Sarah, how about you?
I feel like I'm a little bit more focused in my relationships now than I would have been like 10 years ago.
Because?
I think, well, probably more like 5 years ago. I probably would have just felt like I had to give everything to relationships and not consider myself in relationships. So it was just more of like a
service.
Love everybody, serve everybody, help everybody I can.
Yeah.
But now I can be a little bit more...
Like without expecting anything or demanding anything in return?
Yeah. And now I can, maybe not focus, but more, I don't know, picky or discerning.
Have boundaries?
Or boundaries. Yeah.
I don't like that word.
You don't?
I get the idea, it's fine, but it's just like another one of those
I don't love the word either.
Oh.
I feel like there could be a better way to describe it. But I don't know what that is yet.
Mm-hmm. You mean a buzzword like trauma or trigger?
Yeah, like I understand what it means. Like it's valid, yes. And like I think used as an excuse. Like I have boundaries, so I'm not gonna try to in this relationship or whatever.
Or
as
like
a personal boundary for myself.
You didn't cross all of these checks on my list of relationships.
Yeah. Or like you crossed a boundary for me, so
shunned.
Yeah.
So how? But they that secret word. It is important,
right? So. Yeah. But I think the idea of being fragile in relationships, you have to consider not only your fragility, but the other person's as well.
Oh, got it.
Knowing that they are human and will fail or require things, of you.
Yeah.
And so as much as boundaries can be healthy, I think it can be easy to use them as an excuse to not put the effort into a relationship.
Got it.
When you've been hurt or, harmed or your expectation hasn't been met or whatever.
Mm-hmm. What about when you have tried like for years?
Well, that's when I would say like that, and then boundaries.
Then they're appropriate?
Yeah, I'm not
they're
saying all
always
boundaries
appropriate.
are. Yeah.
They're always appropriate. It's just a matter of like not anything can be used as an excuse.
Mm-hmm. I think with anything, it's discernment has to be a part of the idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, of course it makes sense.
Why, of course? Because you said it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not true.
It's the puzzle that makes her angry.
It makes me angry.
Wait, me?
I was talking
wasn't
about.
angry.
Oh, you were talking about me. I was like, and then talking about Jessica.
I don't think I've ever seen Jessica angry. Do you get angry?
Have you seen me angry?
No, I don't. I guess I've only really seen myself as angry.
That's a whole different podcast episode.
Anger is almost never my default emotion.
It
Like
almost
a frustration.
always is my
I don't even know what that.
Really?
It's like 0 to 60. Like,
No, for sure not me.
I
Wait, why did you say it's 0 to 60?
Because the anger seems like so much, like so big, and
like in general.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever really seen me angry?
No.
I've never seen you angry.
I guess I like feel it. Like I feel anger, but I don't really ever express it.
I don't even think I know what that means. Like feel anger.
Like I feel it in my body. Like if I'm like really passionate about something or something really like genuinely angers me, especially like any kind of injustice.
Enneagram 8.
Yeah, it's very powerful. Well, that's going to be the next episode.
No. Not Enneagram.
Oh, I'm definitely talking about the Enneagram.
We're totally off track though.
For
Like,
sure.
what is this episode about? Relationships.
I think it's about relationships.
Yes. Why do you think it's difficult to, other than your anger issues, why is it difficult to be fragile in relationships? And by fragile, like to be human, to accept your vulnerabilities, to reveal your vulnerabilities when appropriate, to accept help. What are your barriers to that?
Well, I think she's asking me because she said besides
now I'm concerned about your anger.
Yeah. I know for me, I think it's just from being in ministry for so long and having the mindset of it is my role to be there for everybody else.
Conceal,
And
don't feel.
yeah.
I would say for me.
She's not even gonna let you answer.
For real?
She's gonna get angry.
Then answer.
I really did. I think I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Because
Unless it was unclear. Did it come across
like being
unclear?
in
Ministry,
you
conceal,
felt
don't
like you were-
feel.
Q star.
So for me, I would say I don't like for people to have the idea that I don't already know something or that I don't already have something figured out. So that makes it hard for me to be vulnerable. And also it's very difficult for me to actually know if there's something that I need. I never know that, like inside me, if there's something I actually need. So when a lot of people will say like, let me know how I can help you or what do you need or whatever. And I never, ever have a clear answer to that. Not because I'm trying to hide it. I just don't know.
What about the flip side of that, of like being able to recognize when somebody else needs something? How do you feel about that?
I think I'm generally probably okay at that. I'm pretty perceptive about those kinds of things. There's a lot of things I'm not observant about, but that kind of stuff I'm perceptive about. But then probably what will happen is I will see that they're in need of something. I will assume they don't want my help, or they already have like 8 other friends that they're talking to about this, or I'm not going to just like insert myself.
I can relate to that. Do you feel the same way, Sarah? Or do you feel like it's easy for you to step in when necessary?
I feel like I would probably err on the other side where I feel like I probably insert too much, or at least like take on too much, and think like I need to be doing all of this for this person because they have nobody, they're like destitute, so I have to be the one to come in. Yeah, and so I have to kind of like rein it back in.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
What about you? You said you would be more like probably like me.
In that, yeah, if I saw or sensed that somebody needed something or could use something, I would assume like they've got plenty of people, like I'm overstepping a boundary to just like step in and handle this. In fact,
boundaries.
Interesting, but I feel like I'm learning because this is an interesting story. I was at Starbucks the other day and I went inside and to get my drinks. I actually don't mind doing that. But I have more time than you guys.
Wait, as opposed to going to the drive-thru. Oh, got it.
And as opposed to making them come out and bring you your drinks in the parking lot.
I didn't even know that was possible.
But a girl came in on crutches.
We totally could have convinced her that was possible. So the next time she goes
just
to
waiting in the
Starbucks,
parking
she's
lot.
waiting for like 4 hours.
But a girl came in on crutches and ordered her drink and then came and sat down right next to me. and I got my drinks, and she was like struggling a little bit with the crutches. And so I got my drinks, and I was thinking, like, how in the world would you grab your drink if you were on crutches? Like, that's a two-handed job, you know?
Yeah.
And so I grabbed my drinks, and I came back over, and I was like, hey, is it weird if I just stay and like grab your drink for you so you don't have to worry about that? And she's like, oh, that would be so helpful. Thank you so much. So I just stayed, and we looked at our phones until her drink was called, and I got her drink and walked out to her car for her.
So you didn't even ask her why she was on crutches? Oh man, I would have wanted.
No, I didn't want to like, again, I didn't want to like.
I for sure would have.
I mean,
but again, I'm the one who has to kind of rein it in.
But here's the thing. So this is so weird. Always, I would do that in any situation with a stranger. I wouldn't even think about it. I would jump in, and I have done that many times, and it's got me into trouble sometimes.
Yeah, you sat with an old man at Starbucks and sang him happy birthday.
I've done it's really gotten me in trouble. I will do that anytime with a stranger. But for some reason, when it's someone who's closer to me, and I probably not with you two or with my kids or anything like that, but with friendships, like with other,
like somebody that you're gonna see again. Like, is it easy because you know, like that's your one and done? You're never gonna see them again.
Maybe. I don't really know. That's a good question.
So there's like nothing to
there. I feel like that's a good
some of it is that
right there.
The friends that I have outside of you guys are very extroverted. They all have lots of people that they talk to. They have lots of friends. They I think I just kind of assume they don't need me here. They don't need me here. They've got it covered. I don't want to like insert and be bothersome or be like too much.
Has it ever been an issue in any of your other relationships? Like, have people ever said to you, like, I wish you would do more, or?
Oh yeah. In every other relationship, there's been a conversation.
So maybe they're not.
And when I say every other relationship, so like one that used to be but is no longer, and then 3 currently, which would be my only other outside friendships. And every single one of those people
3 whole friends besides us
has said to me, and none of them, they all live in other states. All 3 of them have said to me at some point, I wish you would text more. I wish you would ask me how I'm doing. I wish you would reach out more.
But do you feel like that's more like small talk or surfacey? Whereas like if there was something like really going on, you wouldn't hesitate to call them or...
No, yeah, for sure, because they've all said that to me. And
do you feel like that's a real relationship? If somebody doesn't care at all about like your day-to-day, the surface stuff, does it matter if they're only there for the big things?
I'm not answering because it won't make me feel guilty.
That is a good question. I think everybody is limited. I think in our humanity, we are limited on how much we can care about the little things or the day-to-day things. Like, besides your husband, your kids, and, like, work acquaintances, that's kind of a lot of work and a lot of energy.
Those people do it. They do it with me.
Do they really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I think that's why, like, that can be a boundary. You know, you can't be best friends with everybody.
Right. No, that's definitely true.
I mean, she's talking about 3 people.
That's
you know, like
you can probably put in a little bit more.
I think what it is, so it's part of what I told you before. They're all 3 are very extroverted. They all have tons of people that they talk to. They mention it often. I have this other friend. I was talking to her about the same thing or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's part of it. But then all 3 of them live in other states, and I don't see them. One I've only seen probably like 5 times in my whole life. Another one only a few, fewer than that. And then another one would be different, but I don't see them. So I think it's not an excuse to say I'm bad at long distance relationships, but I definitely am. I'm not using it as an excuse. I'm just like saying it as an explanation.
So then what has helped us in our relationships to kind of overcome some of these obstacles of like getting angry all the time or like
that's a totally different episode.
I can't really like it's still there. Like I can't shake it.
Do you need to talk about this? Like, do you need to talk about my anger issues?
Also, you said you've never even seen her angry.
That's true. Okay. So what has helped us become more vulnerable or
what has helped you?
I think just kind of saying like, well, what's the worst that could happen if I ask that person how they're doing, or if I ask if I can help, or if I say, hey, can we be friends? You know?
Have you asked somebody if you could be friends?
I mean, not in those words, but yeah.
Like, can you be my friend? Circle yes, circle no.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But what's the worst that could happen? They say no. And maybe laugh at
no.
you.
I guess, yeah.
Honestly, I think
I'm just processing through.
I'm not going to say this to be funny, but honestly, getting out of ministry has helped me.
Yeah, to give you a healthier, better picture of what healthy relationships can look like.
Yeah, or at least just the space to figure it
healthy.
out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't feel like, this might be another episode, but I don't know that the church culture that I was in is set up for somebody in ministry to have deep relationships.
Yeah, that's going to be the next episode.
Oh,
like for real though.
Stick around, folks.
Wait, guys, it's coming. The religion episode.
Yeah, but that makes sense. What doesn't make sense?
This stupid puzzle.
I like try so many things, and then I'm like, no, I can't.
I have a lot
putting
of like
together
half
the-
books done down here, and they're all blue, by the way.
Well, yeah, because you only have blue pieces.
Well, you guys put like the 400 green
If
pieces.
you got
and
red
the
books out of that, I'd be
500
really impressed.
Hey, there actually is some red. Here you go. Here's a red book.
Color me impressed.
Color you red.
Oh, yeah. I have so much to work on in this area. So much.
Sarah and I were talking about that earlier.
I'm sure you were.
That was after she was talking about my anger issues.
We're going to revisit that one.
She was talking about that with me. No, I have such a long way to go in this area and so much to learn. And really, honestly, I think it's something that only therapy will really be able to help me.
Well, that makes sense that you haven't
Figure
started
out.
therapy then.
Have you?
No?
I have.
I'm sure you have. Sarah's done all the therapies.
Five
You're
years
even
into
angry
it.
therapist.
You're the one who says that I'm angry. I'm gonna get angry.
No, but I do relate to what you have said about being vulnerable, and just saying like, what's
With
the worst
Sarah?
thing that can happen?
Oh,
you,
I
like,
thought you
what's
were
the worst
talking
thing that
ministry.
can happen if I do reach out? And that I actually have done that in these relationships. Thank you.
How did it go
I don't
over?
even need therapy anymore.
Did they circle yes or no?
No, of course they were
circled
all,
no?
No. I mean, of course they all respond beautifully.
Why she's scarred?
No, they're all amazing people, and so of course they're going to respond, in a healthy way. And
humans.
yeah, but I just have such a long way to go in this.
So coming back to circling back to the whole boundaries thing.
I feel like that needs like a little chime.
Aww. Or like a sign.
circle. Hey, I'm
Or
really
circle
good at
back
making
sign?
things
Oh,
up.
Okay, I will not be doing that.
You're like woo woo woo.
That's a lot of circles. Just
And then
one
I go
quick
like
circle.
I'm like woo. Sorry, circling back.
What are good boundaries to allow you to be vulnerable and put the effort in relationships, but not like how you were talking about Sarah in ministry? No, I want to not
made me
be
laugh.
like Sarah.
Not like this one over here. So let me ask you.
I was relating back to what you said in ministry to not just, give, and not be a human anymore. So.
I think this presents me with a bigger issue that maybe we'll tackle in the next episode, but I don't think the way ministry is done in our culture, it is possible. Yeah. So we were in ministry for 25 years, up until 7 months ago. Actually, it's almost 8 months now. It's not hard to believe. It's been almost 8 months. When we left the whole church culture that we were part of. And as much as we tried to be who we are, we don't hide anything, we don't pretend, we're not hypocrites, whatever, the system doesn't allow for it. It doesn't allow for the people to get to know you because you are not one of the people. The system doesn't allow for it.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. No matter how much you try, it's like they don't know what to do with it. Because they're not.
Because there's such a specific idea of what you're supposed to be.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you don't fit into that idea, if you're just a human, bad things happen.
It's true though.
It is.
I mean, it's true. There's not forgiveness. There's not allowance. There's like.
And I would say that when Nick and I were in ministry, we were very, very intentional about being open with people and being vulnerable. But you can only go so far with it.
Well, yeah. Because of the system.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not you. It's not a you problem. It's not I mean, often it is, but like it wasn't a you problem personally. It wasn't a me problem personally.
And it's not even the people's problem either.
No, it's
necessarily.
just the structure. It's just like how it is.
Well, when the ministry leaders are expected to be the ones with all the answers and to tell you how to live, if somebody sees that maybe you don't know how to live in that you're just human, you're fragile, then where do they go for answers? Because the system is designed to be where the leaders tell you all the things.
Yeah.
So that can be a problem when your leaders are human.
Yeah. Which they all are, by the way.
So now that you are not in that environment, do you know what healthy boundaries look like? Obviously, there's probably like a pendulum swing a little bit of like total servant living, give everything to everybody, and then like this swing of like, nope, we're going to be hermits.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely that for us for a while, but I think it was almost needed.
What, the swing of the pendulum?
Yes, yeah. Like, maybe, I don't know how healthy it was or to the extreme how healthy it was, but there was definitely a swing of self-preservation, of just decompressing, really. But it's definitely messy trying to figure out what actual relationships look like.
Right. So has there been any clarity for that for either of you? As like what is the middle, the healthy middle-ish area?
Are we talking about church specifically?
No, just now that you're out of that culture and you can see just the idea of healthy relationships in general, because you're not in this position of having to like be the leader or the, you know, the shoulder for everybody to lean on. What is?
I think I'm too soon out of it to know.
Yeah.
I know what it should not be.
Yeah.
And I think I understand why it. I don't know though exactly. I guess maybe not why. I don't know how. I think the entire system has to be changed in the church culture for sure. But as far as like relationships as a whole,
like totally separate from church culture, can you even like grasp that is a thing?
Can you?
I think I'm starting to. I think
because obviously there is an idea of like we should be, you know, sacrificial in relationships, like and giving, you know, that, but it doesn't have to be that.
I think
it doesn't have to be this. So what is it?
It has to be done out of love. Like I think the motive is what changes everything, but the motive gets sometimes no matter how pure the motive is. And I'm going to keep going back to this. If it's inside that system, it's not going to matter. It's going to get killed. So the motive outside of that, then trying to develop healthy relationships with other people. When you love someone, you will serve them. You want to serve them. You want to be there for them. It's also much easier for you to be vulnerable with them because love comes with trust. And so I think
it's organic.
Yes, because it's just, it's organic. It's natural. It's instinctive.
Yeah, I would definitely agree because I think I've already experienced that a little bit with people that I work with. Like I know that I've gotten really close to a few people at work and I know that that's out of a place of love.
It's because they haven't seen your anger yet.
Actually,
just wait.
They probably have. But we're all teachers.
They're the real deal then. Stick with them.
But like with them, I know like I can share things with them and they have shared things with me. But it's also like what you were saying earlier, like we are together almost every day. It is a
proximity matters, unfortunately. Not that it can't be overcome if you're not.
But it makes things
it makes it convenient.
Yes. Yeah, it really does. So those are relationships that are worth investing into for me. Whereas like at the beginning of the school year, there would have been a couple more that I thought, okay, these people have my back. These people are going to help me out. And then like 3 months, 6 months into the school year, I knew, okay, these people are not for me. They're
Do you
not going to
feel
help
like
me.
that's always going to be the case, unfortunately, when you are allowing yourself to be vulnerable?
Yeah.
There's just
Oh,
always
yeah.
going to be, is that worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, because the flip side of that is no relationships at all.
Right.
Or just purely shallow relationships.
Right.
There, with every relationship comes risk.
Yeah. And I think with those relationships, seeing who they really were and what they're actually
When it goes
after,
both ways.
yeah, that allowed me to put up a healthy boundary with them. But then on the flip side of that, the other relationships that are for me and helping me and are mutual, I guess, those relationships really came around me in times where like those other people were really like attacking me and my kids.
They were your elephants.
They were my work elephants.
Your work elephants?
You have work elephants?
Well, yeah, because you guys don't work at the same place as me.
Never will.
We do not.
Yeah. Well, that's your
I have my own school.
So I don't know if we already covered everything, but what do you feel like you still have more to learn? Obviously, you kind of already, we've all kind of already said that. You always have more
actually,
to learn.
I would change. I said I think about 10 years ago, but I really think it's been like about 3 or 4 years
weeks.
ago for me. That I've really started to evaluate relationships just in general and understand that they are important. That's happened in the last 3 or 4 weeks. 3 or 4 weeks, 3 or 4 years. No, I'm like,
It's very powerful in
but so I think I have like all of it to learn. And I think unfortunately for me, this kind of learning comes through practice and not through books. And I
Whoa.
don't
How does that make you feel?
I don't love that.
Is that a thing?
I don't like that journey for me.
I feel like I am starting over again. Because not just ministry, but the church culture that we grew up in, you were expected to just be friends with everybody. And not even expected, but like I kind of had to. Like it was not like a demand, but almost like unspoken, I think. And so now being completely removed from all of that, I am learning how to make friends for like the first time in my life. And so I feel like I probably have about as much as like my 5-year-old to learn.
What about you, Jess?
I was not, well, I mean, I was like sort of in positions of ministry-ish, like long time ago, but not recently. So I was not in that same kind of position. I still carry some of the baggage just from that culture, because there's even, apart from being in a leadership position, there's the element of you should be, you know, the sacrificial servant living, all of that. But at the same time, so many of the relationships there in church culture were kind of relationships of convenience, which was found out not until we left, you know, after stepping away to see how many people are still for you once you don't fit that mold.
That was the most
not
shocking
many
thing
people.
to me.
Yeah.
So I feel like I have some to learn. Fortunately, I had made efforts to build real relationships before all that happened.
Outside of.
Yeah, outside of the church.
Wait, Star, do you feel like you had the space to do that while you were in ministry, like form relationships outside of the church that you were in?
Yeah.
You lived a lot of life like outside of church culture.
So
probably
much.
more than you did.
Yeah.
But
also, like, you worked for someone
Yeah, that's
for a
true.
long time, someone who was not healthy.
Yeah.
And so that was totally different. Wherever we've been in ministry, John has not worked for anyone.
Yeah, that is true.
I think that we were allowed to say, and of course I'm married to John, who is like, whatever you want to do, you do it, and you'll be amazing at it. So I traveled on my own around the world.
definitely
and
amazing at
you know,
relationships.
I'm doing better, guys. But I
That
did
is
have
true.
a big separate life outside of the church.
Yeah, whereas like we weren't really allowed to. There were a lot of other issues there. Anyways, go ahead, Jessica.
I think that was all.
Okay, well.
That's it. We covered everything. We solved relationship problems,
Yeah.
and I don't need to go to therapy.
No, I think we discovered that you need therapy.
outline. I don't know if we're supposed to talk about the outline on here.
Do people know?
Does that break the illusion that we're just
We're
chatting?
breaking the fifth wall.
Is it the fifth wall or the fourth wall?
I mean, the
okay,
fourth
I was
wall.
like, wait, there are
Isn't
five?
the ceiling? We're raising the roof off this place.
But if you're watching this or listening to this, thank you. But we'd also like to hear from you guys.
What are your thoughts? We don't know everything and need
help
help.
us. Do you have a good therapist to recommend?
I do.
In California, though.
No, that's not helpful.
Yeah.
What are some barriers that you guys have in relationships, or ways that you've overcome that and learned to embrace your fragility?
Yeah, not specific to ministry. We talked about ministry a lot in this episode, but just relationships in general. Yeah. Or what questions do you have that we can walk through with you?
Because obviously we know lots.
Yeah, we're especially me. I'll answer all your relationship questions.
So many friends.
We're really good at asking questions, though.
Okay, yeah, that's true. We'll go on this journey together.
Ew.
Was that a little bit creepy?
Yes, I don't like it. Well, I think the words
again?
weren't as bad, but how you were looking at the camera was pretty weird.
Oh boy.